Hey guys, welcome to Priceless B Movies. I'm your host, Colin Price. You know, me and my fiance are both huge horror movie fans, and if you know us personally, or even if you follow my page, you know that. But she and I go to a lot of horror movie conventions. You can kind of see here a little bit of my wall behind. We like to hang all of our horror movie autographs, all the people we've met on these trips and these conventions, and it's a lot of fun. You know, it costs a lot of money, so we can only do it a couple times a year, but we have a great time when we do. And there was a point about a year and a half ago when we got to meet the man himself, Robert Englund, at Horror Hound Weekend in Indianapolis, Indiana. And it was fantastic, but we only had time to really be there for a day. We both had to work, so we didn't have the whole weekend off. We could only be there for the Saturday, and I wish we had known that we could have stayed a little longer, because I found out that later on, at about 7 o'clock that night, long after she and I had left, that he was introducing this film called The Funhouse Massacre that he had a small part in. And I didn't think too much of it at the time, but then when The Funhouse Massacre came out on Blu-ray and DVD, she and I caught a copy of it, and oh my God. The moments when you look back on your life and go, man, why didn't I stay for that thing? The Funhouse Massacre. So the Funhouse Massacre has a pretty simple plot. There's these 6 psycho killers who are locked up in this asylum, and they stage a breakout, and the 6 of them are in this small town now, and they infiltrate this carnival freak show act that's kind of like an homage to them. Like, each of these 6 killers are supposed to be notorious, like urban legend kind of stuff. And so in this kind of funhouse of horrors, there's a different exhibit dedicated to each one of them. And the killers themselves sneak into their exhibits, knock off the actors playing them, and start to reenact their crime sprees live as the people come in, but don't come out. This is such a fun movie. I love The Funhouse Massacre. This is one of those great direct-to-video horror movies that a lot of people probably haven't heard of, but it's so entertaining, it's so much fun, because it doesn't take itself very seriously. It works as this great kind of throwback to 80s and 90s, just kind of fun slasher movies like Night of the Demons or Dr. Giggles, or, any of those films that, you couldn't take them seriously, but it was because you couldn't take them seriously that they were fun, they were entertaining. You weren't like really upset when someone died. It wasn't so much about the horror as it was about just being like, oh my God, did you see what happened to that guy's face? What the fuck was that? This is the kind of horror movie that I love. This is the kind of thing that I really get into. Every now and then I'll see a movie like The Autopsy of Jane Doe, or like The Babadook, or The Witch, and it's this great, creepy, slow burn movie. And don't get me wrong, I love those. I'm really impressed anytime a filmmaker can make me unsettled or make me creeped out, because it's kind of hard to do. I've seen so many movies that a lot of movies don't really scare me anymore. But what I love even more than that is when movies just say to hell with censorship and to hell with political correctness, and let's just be gory and throw a couple of boobs around and have a good time. That's the kind of horror movie that I love more than any other kind. As I said, Robert Englund does show up in this movie, but he's only in about the first 10 minutes of it, so if you're going to see it just for him, you're going to be a little disappointed. He gets out of the picture pretty quickly. But you know what? When you got the likes of Jerry Burns and Clint Howard, of all people, Ron Howard's little brother, that weird-looking guy that we hate in most movies, as serial killers just hamming it up. God, this is fantastic. This is really, really great. Now, I'm not going to go too much further into the plot. There are some twists and turns, and there are some great satirical moments that kind of pokes fun at how people become desensitized to violence. There's some great scenes where people are going through this fun house, and they're flat out seeing a dentist with a drill drilling into someone's mouth, and it's real. But because they think that it's just like an exhibit and that it's all for show, they are so desensitized to it. They're just like, oh my God, look at this. There's this great moment where there's some teenage girls walking through a bloody classroom, and bodies, all faces and mouths stitched up and on. They're walking through, and they're like, oh my God, hashtag best amusement park ever, and hashtag this, hashtag. And they're just so oblivious to the fact that they're walking around real bodies. I was laughing my ass off when I first saw this movie. The makeup is also phenomenal. Each of these killers, even if they're supposed to be, just kind of silly, the ones that are supposed to be kind of silly, the makeup is great. These characters really look creepy. All the actors playing these killers are really good. Yes, that's right. Even Clint Howard is pretty good in this movie, and you'll never hear me say that again. Getting into the cons, there really aren't many. The budget does kind of affect the film from time to time. A lot of the gore looks a bit fake here and there, but it's not that terrible CG gore, like it's actual blood, but I mean, there's a lot of that blood looks like Kool-Aid kind of stuff going on, and it did take me out of the movie here and there, but really, the budget aside, I mean, if this movie had $100 million to work with, this would be one of the best horror movies of the recent years. The Funhouse Massacre gets 3.5 stars. I had a lot of fun with this movie, and I don't think that it's a movie that I'm going to get tired of watching too quick. I've seen it, maybe 3 or 4 times already, and I love it. Just doing this review makes me want to watch it again. It's such a fun film, and I really highly recommend it if you guys are in the mood for a good kind of let's grab a 6-pack of beer and watch a really dumb horror movie with a lot of great laughs and a lot of great kills and, like I said, a couple boobs thrown in it. Then this, you can't go wrong with this. This is a really fun film. You should definitely check it out. That's my review of the Funhouse Massacre. Stay tuned, I got a lot more of these reviews coming, and here pretty soon, I don't know if it'll be starting with my next review, but here pretty soon I'm going to have a whole new camera set up in here, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I think these videos are going to start looking a little clearer. I'm still currently working with a very old camera, so the image is kind of like a little blurry and a little grainy and a little... Yeah, that ain't going to be the case for too much longer, and I'm really excited to get this new setup going. Also, and as always, if there's a movie you can think of that's either underrated or underappreciated by audiences or critics or both, and you want to know what I think of it, let me know in the comments section or on my Facebook page, and I'll see what I can do about finding a copy of that movie, giving it a watch, and putting up a review for you. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Priceless B movies.